Hi boys and girls, I am back today at the Steak and Brush with a full face of Wet n Wild. From primer to fixing spray, nothing but Wet n Wild. Before we get into it, as always, if I could ask you to make sure you have subscribed and liked this video and shared it with any of your makeup loving friends, and don't forget to like me on Instagram at steak_and_brush. Alright, so Wet n Wild, past 2 days you see me go through the Rebel Rose collection and the Fire and Ice collection. Everything here is it's all Wet n Wild with the exception of, I think, 3 brushes maybe. I'm gonna even try to use just my Wet n Wild brushes as much as possible. Some of this is new to me, some of this is not. Some of this I reviewed, some of this I've just kind of had around. So let's get into it. The first thing, I actually realized this morning that I did not have a primer. I thought I bought one, but I didn't. So I went out just an hour ago and bought this at CVS. This is their, I decided to get something a little different. It's their primer stick. I really don't know much about it at all, except it is part of their pump collection, which looks like to be a very 80s-ish collection. So let's get into this. I'm not even sure exactly. I guess I just kind of put it on and spread it out. There is no smell to it at all, which is good considering some of their facial products. I'm looking at You foundation. Has a horrible smell to it. Just by the texture of it, I don't know if it's pore filling. We'll see. It's not a gripping primer, I can tell that. It definitely has a silicone-y feel. Let's take a look. I don't have a huge amount of pores to really fill, but we'll see how it lasts throughout the day. Next up is the Photo Focus foundation. I have this, I always forget what color it is. It's like buff beige or something. Buff Bisque, sorry. And again, horrible smell, horrible applicator, great foundation. Stuff is like, averages out to be about $5 depending on where you get it. It's on sale if you have a cute coupon, but I think, I mean, regular price is like $5.75 or something. Just, if you haven't tried it yet, it is a great one to try. You're not, if you absolutely hate it, you're only out $5 or $6. And I promise you the smell does go away after a few minutes. All kinds of stray hairs going on today. I'm just very frizzy today. I tried to throw it up in some buns to get out of the way, but my hair is still kind of going everywhere. Not really sure too much after putting a layer of foundation on if the primer really did much for the look of the foundation. Looking in my other mirror here, I mean, it's not really smoothing out texture or anything. I think it's just a, hopefully it's just a long wear then and it's not a complete waste. I build up just a little bit on my sunspot areas, as always. I guess I should also mention the primer. I bought it, it was $3.99. So again, great price. Don't know if it's actually worth $3.99 yet, but you know, if I wasted $3.99, it's only $3.99. Wet n Wild is also a cruelty-free brand, so that is something great, especially when a lot of the, I don't understand, when a lot of the big companies can't be cruelty-free, but Wet n Wild can. Doesn't make sense to me at all. Okay, next up I have the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Concealer in, I have no idea what shade, Light Ivory. I will readily admit this is not my favorite for under eyes. I do like it as a primer for my lids or when I need to cut my crease. I find it just a little thick for my under eyes. I don't have a whole lot that I need in my under eyes. It's mostly right through here, but it tends to cake up a little bit, so I do have to set it. It's not, it's just compared to my Maybelline Age Rewind, that's a very thin formula, and it just blends out a little better for me. I know a lot of people much prefer the thicker ones, so don't let my minor distaste for it distract you. Again, I don't know the exact price of this, but I know it was probably $3 or $4. I've had it for a little while. It does do decently well to correct my under eyes. I have most of it's actually down here where I have issues, but a lot of it's shadow, so it's kind of a weird bag. Next, this one is brand new to me. This is the Wet n Wild Mattifying Setting Powder. I have not tried this before. I have had it for a while. It looks white, but it seems to go on pretty clear, I'm hoping. My under eyes need set, but I'll probably set the rest of my face. Sometimes, depending on kind of the ambient temperature, I don't feel like I need to set the Photo Focus foundation, but we'll just go ahead today, especially since I want to kind of see how this performs. It's not a very, it has kind of a coarse texture in the pan, so I was kind of wary about it. But again, I wanted to try something a little different. Well, it definitely mattifies, if that's what you're going for. This has more of the foundation has more of a natural finish. I don't think it does a lot for texture though. So maybe if you're very oily, I would probably say, you know, if you've got great skin with no texture, but it's a little oily, that might be good for you. But I feel a little more textury than I normally do. But overall, I think it's a pretty good base for what we're doing here. Next up, we are going to go in with the bronzer. You saw me use this in the Fire and Ice collection. This is the You're Dragging Me Down. keep meaning to try the other stuff, but it's just a little orange. I'm just a little worried about that, so I am going to go in with this brush from the Rebel Rose collection. I think it'll get me a much nicer spread of my bronzer, as opposed to the other brush I've been using lately is more for the contouring, which I do my contouring with my bronzer, but it doesn't need to be quite so chiseled. So I love this bronzer. I think it's very pretty. The only, I do want to go in and see if I can find one that's maybe just a little more cool toned, especially for winter, so that it looks a little more contoury as opposed to bronzer, but can be used for both, if that makes any sense whatsoever. And I love this brush. So soft, and as opposed to the eyeshadow brush, it never pushes down so far that these plastic hard petals are hitting my face. Just a very pretty and very good brush. Okay, for blush, I only have one blush to choose from, and that is the Color Icon Cream blush from the Rebel Rose collection. And as I found out yesterday, it's not quite as pigmented as I want it to be. I've tried, just both putting it on with the brush and blending it out and my finger. It just never... I think if you were really pale, and I'm not dark by any stretch of the imagination, but if you were like goth pale, this would probably look much better. But it's just not quite my shade. But we'll make do today, because it's the only thing I got. I do think it applies and blends very well, so if it is your shade, that's terrific. Okay, highlighter. Again, this is from the... It did not break though. This is from the Fire and Ice palette. This is Winter Falls in LA. It does have that little bit of a blue tint to it, but I love how it goes on. So I definitely think I'm going to be trying some other Wet n Wild highlighters. Just try to find one without that blue shift there. Although I don't think the blue shift is that noticeable unless you're pretty close or you catch it just in the right light. So it'll do for right now. I'm not going anywhere else today. I actually went out with no makeup on so that I could get that primer, just so I can come home and film and then not go anywhere. Alright, so that's the face done. Let's go ahead and move to the eyes. What do I want to do? Do I want to do the Fire and Ice, or do I want to do the Rebel Rose? Oh, I think I am going for the Rebel Rose. This is the Secret Garden Rendezvous palette. And I think I'm going to go in. This is a little shimmery. Let's see. Yeah, let's go in with... Ooh, that had a lot of kick up. Can you see that? That usually does not happen with Wet n Wilds, or at least none of the palettes that I've had. Oh, okay, that came off a lot darker than I expected it to be. This is my non-Wet n Wild touching me here. This is an Anastasia Beverly Hills brush. Well, the good news is it doesn't shimmer so much. I can get a little bit of shimmer up around here, but it's not showing up so shimmery down at the bottom. Oh, this brush, I do not like it, but for the sake of the Wet n Wild day, I'm trying my best to use it, guys. I mean, I guess for just putting the makeup down, it's not all that horrible, but it doesn't do great for blending out or any kind of precision at all. Okay. Again, but you know, even though that really came up a lot in the palette, it sat down very well. It's not patchy. Again, that color was much more pigmented than I expected it to be. I'm going to go in with a mauve here. It is a little deeper in the pan than it shows on camera. I do like the color though. I like it a lot. I'm just going to do about half of my lid, my mobile lid, with that color. And again, as with the past couple days, I'm just going to do a pretty simple eye look. I don't want to spend too much time on my shadows today. And with my pencil brush, I'm going to go in with this deeper purpley blue indigo color, I guess, to deepen things up. He did do a good job of curating these colors together. I really like them. It's a little muddy with that color up there. We'll see. We'll see how it looks when it all comes together though. Definitely no problems with the amount of pigment though. I really like that blue, kind of breaking the color up in the crease. Go in with the gold just on my finger there. Yeah. Always amazes me, no matter what an eye look looks like, putting a little bit of sparkle on it can make all the difference. If you hear it scratching, that's my dog deciding that she wants in. She was outside of my room when we started filming. Apparently, the draw of food out there was much greater than the draw of makeup to her, but okay, actually I think I'm gonna go into this palette and just use the brow bone highlight from it. Use this up here, and then I'm going to use it in my corner. Although it's not quite as light as I would like it to be. Okay, and then I think we'll just go back into, if I can open it up again, I'm going to go back into that color to do my under eye. I'm going to take the tiniest, just a dab of that indigo, just to kind of darken it up a little bit. It's looking a little, don't want it to look too red underneath my eyes. As a matter of fact, I'm actually going to go back into that. I'm going to add a little bit more of that red right through here. Oh yeah, that's, bring that color back out from where it blended a little too much with the indigo. Muddied it up a little bit, so we'll just bring that back out. There, that's much better. Much better. All right, let's move into the rest of the eye here. What I have, my MegaLiner, I love this. I have been using it quite a bit. I love it for drawing wings. I'm going to use my other mirror over here, so kind of excuse me while I'm not looking at you. It glides on very, very well. Oop. I love that it's an actual brush. I do wish the brush was just a little longer though. Are we even? Yeah, actually I think we're pretty close. I think if you have kind of crepey eyes or eyelids, I think a liquid with a brush will serve you much better than a Kohl or even a like a felt tip. I think it glides on better, it covers into those little crepes so you're not seeing so much of it. Eyebrows, I've used this a couple times. This is the retractable brow pencil in ash brown. And we've got this kind of tip on one side. It's not very pointy after after the first use or so, and I don't really know how to sharpen it since it's a retractable. Unless I just like took a knife to it, but that's my only real qualm about it. I think the color match is very much what I want it to be. Sorry, I don't know why that keeps going in and out of focus. I am barely moving. One day I will get a better camera. I'm actually kind of in the hunt for one. My brother is a very good amateur photographer. And I asked him what kind of camera I should get. And he said for video recording, just get a really good cell phone camera. And I have been debating on what I'm going to upgrade to for a while. My phone is definitely ready to be upgraded, but I just can't decide. So if you've got any good suggestions, I'm not an iPhone person. I tried a MacBook a while ago, just a couple months ago. Wasn't all that impressed by it. I want to stick with my Android. I think this was only a couple dollars, maybe $3.99 for the price. It's still not as good as my Holy Grail Hourglass, but I don't think it's bad either. Like I said, the only problem is I can't get a lot of precision because the tip kind of dulls. It does have a spoolie though. Brush that out a little bit. I do not have any kind of gel product to put on afterwards though. I'm sure they probably make it, but I couldn't find it, at least at my local store. Okay, I need to stop or else it's going to go crazy. I keep picking at it and saying, oh, just a little more, just a little more. All right, for my tight line, I have the Color Icon Kohl eyeliner. I've not used this yet. This is a very stiff Kohl eyeliner. And I like them to be a little softer. I don't know, we'll see. We'll see how this works. I'm used to using my L'Oreal Infallible. It's very soft, and if I poke myself with it, I don't feel like I'm going to lose an eye. This, I feel like I need to be much more careful with. I also feel like I'm not actually, it's so stiff, it's actually pushing underneath my lid. Yeah, I mean, these were only $1.99, but I'm not really thrilled with it. I have tried this. I've got this for my waterline. Just wanted to try a lighter color. Again, I still have the same problem. It doesn't come off very easily. Use this to pull my eye down so I'm not messing up my makeup or pulling too much. Yeah, I barely feel like I'm getting any color there. Yeah, you just really have to push hard to get anything. Not a fan of these at all. Alright, eyelash time. I have had this for a while. I have not tried it. It is the Mega Volume. I haven't heard anybody talk about Wet n Wild mascaras. I'm assuming there's a reason for it, but it's just your typical fluffy brush, no real shape to it, completely straight. I don't feel like I'm getting a lot from it. It's coating. I mean, maybe I'm getting a little volume. But I don't feel like it. I mean, again, for a couple bucks, I think if you forgot your makeup and you needed to do your eyelashes, you didn't want to go somewhere to spend a ton of money on something, it would do to coat your lashes. But I have 10 other mascaras that are better, and one stray hair that will not stay out of the way. It's always just one hair. And I've already gotten that in my under eye. I don't know, I'm just not thrilled with it. It'll work, but that's about all it'll do. Okay, so what do we have left? Just lipstick? I pulled out two. This is from the Rebel Rose. I wanted to wear this yesterday, but it didn't quite go. And this is from the Fire and Ice. With that one. I really want to wear that color though. This is Shall We Slay. This is from the Kohl side. This might be a little out there, but ooh. I don't know, let's see. The more I look at it, the more I like it. If you're willing to go cool on your lips, which, you know, can be a little scary. Yeah, I do like it. And this is part of their metallic liquid catsuit line. So, all right, final touch, setting spray. Actually, almost out of this. This is the Natural Finish Photo Focus. I think they have a matte and maybe a luminous. I'm not sure, but yeah, that might be just down to the last couple squirts. I've been waiting and not using this because I knew I was low and I wanted to do this video. So, start to finish, everything Wet n Wild. What do we think? Primer does nothing for like pores or texture. Hopefully it will be long lasting. I'll have to let you know because I obviously can't tell you that now. Foundation, probably out of everything, this is the best. I really enjoy this foundation. The concealer, for me, It's better for priming than it is for my under eyes, although once it's set, it's not bad. It really isn't. And if you need something a little thicker, as opposed to what I like, which is just thinner, and that's just personal preference, this is not bad at all. Setting powder, you know, this is mattifying. If you need to matte, if you don't have texture and you are oily, I would say this would work pretty well. I just feel like it brought out too much texture for me. The bronzers, I think the bronzer did really, really well. I really like it. I'll be looking for it in some more shades. Blush, again, I like the consistency. I like how it went on. It blended well. It's just not particularly my color. So it's not a bad on the formula, just not great on the color. Highlight, love the highlight. If I could just find one without the blue shift, I will definitely be looking for more of these. The eyeshadows, I have, you know, the Rebel Rose, the Fire and Ice, and even I have another palette that is the Modern Romance dupe. I love all of these. I haven't had any problems. I know some people have complained about a few of the other quads that aren't part of any of these collections. I can't speak to that personally, but everything that I've tried, I have really enjoyed. Love the eyeliner. Cheap, good consistency, great brush. If maybe it were just a tiny bit longer. Eyebrow pencil is good. I would definitely pick this up again. Kohl eyeliners are a no-go for me. They're just, I mean, and you've got I mean, these are super, super long. If you look at them compared to the eyebrow pencil, I mean, you've got tons and tons of product in there, but they are so stiff and so hard. I mean, this is the kind of eyeliner, you know, I had back in the day 30 years ago when I was, you know, a preteen and I was trying to do makeup. So those are a no-go definitely for me. Same thing with the mascara. Unless I just needed something real quick just to coat my lashes, I wouldn't be buying that. These I wouldn't even buy even if I needed them, because I don't think they did anything. The liquid catsuits, you know, I can say nothing but good about the formula. It's just a matter of picking a shade that you like. These are great, definitely worth the money. The brushes, love this brush. Do not like this brush at all. I did fail to mention that my concealer brush is a Wet n Wild, as is my very dirty handled, didn't realize it was that bad, but my blush brush. I've had this forever. I always use it. I really like it. Oh, and I'm dropping everything today. And then finally, the Photo Focus Fixing Spray. I have always enjoyed this. This is, you know, again, $5. I don't think anything here individually would cost you more than $6, except, I don't know, maybe the brush. I don't know. But, you know, it always has worked well for me. I don't anticipating it not working well today. It's empty. I probably won't buy another one right now because I have some other fixing spray, but you know, when the time comes, yeah, I would definitely repurchase this. So that is an end to our Wet n Wild week. Have you enjoyed it? Anything that you liked? Any products that you liked particularly? Anything that you have tried and you didn't like? What would you like to see me do next? I would love to be able to do some of the high end, but that'll take a little while to amass and afford. But if you want something drugstore a full week like this where I can try out a couple collections, let me know. That is definitely doable. Just put it down in the comments so I can start working on that. Until then, I guess we'll see you later. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.